Hello everyone, my name is Akif Nawaz, and in this video our focus will be on English grammar, that is chapter number 7 of George Orwell's book The Study of Language. Now, before going into the discussion, let me remind that we have already discussed two of the key chapters of this book, that is word formation and English morphology. So if you have any problems in these two chapters, make sure to watch the videos. Now, let's move forward. So in this video, we're going to talk about three core concepts, and the first one is grammar and word order. We'll explain with the help of examples. The second one is traditional grammar and what do we mean by agreement. And the third topic is that of natural versus grammatical gender. Now, let's move forward with the first one, that is grammar and word order. So, what is grammar? Grammar actually is the set of structural rules of a language. Means that we get the rules and regulations about the structure. So that is why what we call as grammar. Now, it governs the composition of phrases and sentences. Now, by keeping these rules in mind, we compose phrases and sentences. Now, why do we do this? Just to ensure that expressions are both meaningful and acceptable. So, a set of rules is devised and discussed in order to compose phrases and sentences to ensure meaningful and acceptable expressions. Now, let's talk about the example. So, that is what we discussed about grammar. We'll relate it to the word order and with the help of examples. Now, the first one is the lucky boys. Now, this is a grammatical phrase in English language. Now, why am I saying that the lucky boys is a grammatical phrase? Just because of the fact there is a structure in which we have the article plus adjective plus noun. Now, this is the acceptable grammatical structure. If I change the positions of these different word categories, boy is the lucky or lucky boy is the, so definitely the structure is distorted, and that's why I can say that these are ungrammatical because they violate English word order rules. So firstly, here we have talked about what is a grammar and why word order is really important. The next topic that we are going to talk about is traditional grammar and agreement. Now, if you look at the term traditional grammar, so we get the idea that those rules which are derived from Latin and Greek. So that's why it's called as traditional grammar. So what do we have in this? It classifies words into categories. Now, different words are categorized into different categories, like different parts of speech that we have. The first one is noun, pronoun, verbs, adverbs. So these are different categories. Now, why these categories are important? Because they identify rules such as agreement between subject and verbs. We simply call it subject-verb agreement. Now, this subject-verb agreement is based on either a number, a person, a tense, voice, or gender. So these are the things on which this agreement is totally dependent upon. Now let's try to explain it through the help of an example. Kathy loves her dog. Now the question is, why have we added s with the verb? Now let's try to explain. The first one is Kathy. It's a third person singular noun. We know that it's a noun, but while analyzing it in depth, we get to know that this is third person singular noun. Now, when it comes to this subject verb agreement, so Kathy here is a subject and the verb is loves. Now, the verb loves agrees with Kathy in person and in number. Now, when it comes to a subject, if the subject is singular, so we have to add SRES with the first form of the verb. So, here both of them are in agreement with each other. Now, the next thing is the pronoun her agrees with Kathy in gender. Now, this is subject pronoun agreement. The subject is singular, Kathy, it's feminine, and that's why the pronoun should be used as her. So we have to keep the gender in mind as well. So this is again in agreement with the subject and the focus is on the gender. Now, the verb loves is in the present tense and in the active voice. So these are the different scenarios, the different situations, the different understandings that we get from a single sentence. So traditional grammar is not only important in terms of understanding, but also to ensure meaningful and purposeful expressions. So that is all about it. The next topic that we are going to talk about is natural gender versus grammatical gender. So what do we mean by the first term, that is natural gender? Now it refers to gender distinctions based on biological sex. So when a baby is born, we can definitely identify on the basis of their sex that whether this baby is a male or female. So what do we do? When it comes to English language, we have this distinction based on natural gender. Now, we use he for male, she for female, it for objects are unknown gender. So this is how we categorize things on the basis of their gender. Now, Kathy loves her dog. Now, if you look at this word her, why do we use it? Just because of the fact we are keeping the gender of Kathy in mind, and her natural gender is female. She is a female, so that's why we are using this pronoun her. Now, if we replace this Kathy with Ali, for example, so definitely then we have to come up with the pronoun his. So natural gender is based on the biological sex. When it comes to the grammatical gender, they have nothing to do with biological sex. Rather, they assign gender classes, masculine, feminine, neuter, to nouns, often unrelated to actual sex. So it means that grammatical gender has nothing to do with biological sex. Rather, they have been assigned these different classes. Now, for example, if we look at the example of Spanish language. Now, in Spanish language, we have this grammatical gender. For example, the sun and the moon. In Spanish language, this grammatical gender is assigned to both of them. Sun is treated as masculine, whereas moon is treated as feminine. So look at these two terminologies with Sol and Luna. So with Sol, there is this element El Sol, means it has been treated as masculine, whereas the word La is added, La Luna is added so as to discuss the grammatical gender of this term. That's all for today from my side. We'll see you in the next one. And if you have liked this video, make sure to subscribe and do share it with your friends and colleagues. Thank you so much.